The art of conversation has begun, and I could not be more energized by the professionals who said yes to mastering the craft. Their dedication to curating great conversations reminds me why I do this work. Now, if you wanted to join us and did not make it in time, I want you to hear this. The next cohort is coming. I do not have the firm dates yet, but I do have a waiting list. And everyone on that list will receive early access and special discounts when enrollment opens. After almost 40 years of interviewing world leaders and cultural icons, I am teaching everything I know. Don't miss your chance to be in the next room. Go to TavishTalks.com and get on the waiting list right now. That's TavishTalks.com. The conversation continues. Will you be part of it?
Yeah, man.
You to be mine in the daytime as well as the night, but you needed to hide me, and that just don't sit right. I wasn't the aesthetic. I guess I get it. So much pressure to appear just like them.
Brother Andy knows what time it is. He knows what time it is. You know I'm a Jilly from Philly fan. Raise your hand if you're a Jilly from Philly fan. There's a lot to be a fan about. Did you see that NPR Tiny Desk concert? Instantly one of the top Tiny Desk concerts in Tiny Desk history. If you haven't already, check it out. If you have, if you know, you know. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, your host and White House correspondent. Not in Washington today, but right here with you in LA in afternoon drive time where I'm in touch. So guess what? Tag, you be in touch. Follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, DRNIIQ. And there I am, fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app if you haven't already. That way, you can take us with you everywhere you go. And subscribe to the KBLA YouTube channel so we can see each other. How about that? Speaking of seeing folks, I am a big concert person, in case you haven't noticed. And if you live in LA, if you're familiar with LA, you know that no summer is complete in LA if you haven't visited the Hollywood Bowl at least once, at least one time, right? There's lots of shows going through the Hollywood Bowl, and they just announced their 2026 Hollywood Bowl season. So break out your picnic baskets, get your drinks on ice. It's going to be a great summer. I encourage folks to follow the Hollywood Bowl on Instagram and your favorite social media channel, so that you can too learn about who's going to be in concert. I'm already looking, and the Commodores. If you want to go old school, the Commodores are going to be performing this summer. Gregory Porter is going to be making his way through a Hollywood Bowl. Patti LaBelle, Robert Glasper, The Roots, Sheila E., Samara Joy, Smokey Robinson, Wyclef Jean, Ziggy Marley. I mean, this list is crazy. It's crazy. And that's just, over the course of the summer. Now, if you really want to lock in, the Blue Note Jazz Festival is taking place at the Hollywood Bowl June 13th through the 14th. That's where you can see Patti LaBelle, Wyclef Jean, Gregory Porter, Samara Joy, Yusef Days. And did I mention Chance the Rapper is going to be making his way through Hollywood Bowl? The Blue Note Jazz Festival is going to be hosted by Arsenio Hall. Wow. So, that's going to be extra special, extra memorable. And so get your tickets. Don't get your tickets. No sad faces when the concert, the day of the concert, because you didn't get the tickets. So, mark your calendar, set aside a few dollars and get your tickets to the Hollywood Bowl. All right. It's time for your national news roundup. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of this hour. And kicking us off, The Guardian is reporting that Trump's immigration siege is rattling the hospitality industry. That's what workers are saying. They're saying that Donald Trump's immigration policies are having a chilling effect on the hospitality industry, where nearly a third of workers are immigrants. It's according to the largest hospitality union in the United States. The number of employed hospitality workers dropped from 98,000 from December 2024 to December 2025. That's according to reports from Unite Here, which represents 300,000 workers across the hospitality, food, and tourism industries in the U.S. and Canada. Union leaders say that the Trump administration's brutal immigration crackdown has not only scared workers, but it's also discouraged international tourism. The U.S. saw a decline of $1.2 billion in tourism revenues from September 2024 to September 2025. And so, isn't it strange that the individual who ran for president saying he was going to lower costs and that businesses were going to boom? In fact, during his inauguration speech, he said he was ushering in the golden age of America. And we're hearing from people who work in the hospitality industry and the tourism industry that that's not happening. People are going elsewhere, and workers are scared as I don't know what. And so it's worth noting. It's worth noting as you think about exercising your vote in the upcoming elections. In other news, Trump would like the government he leads to pay him billions with a B. Let me explain. The folks over at NPR are reporting that of all the ways that President Trump has pushed the boundaries of executive power, one in particular stands out to lawyers and watchdogs. The president wants the government that he leads to pay him billions of dollars. Trump has filed multiple claims arguing that he's been hurt by the Justice Department's investigations and the leak of his tax returns years ago. Now, it's up to his own political appointees to determine whether to settle with their boss for how much taxpayer money. It's not hard to see the glaring conflict of interest here. And this isn't just me saying this. Folks like Edward Whelan, who's a former lawyer for the Justice Department and a political conservative who once clerked for the late Justice Scalia, says, quote, "It is outrageous that he and those answering to him would be deciding how the government responds to these extravagant claims." For Trump, filing lawsuits, including those that are frivolous or where he has little chances of success, has long been the standard operating procedure. A White House official speaking on background said that these claims amount to unfinished business for the president. That's what's happening. So your taxpayer dollars. So when you get your tax bill this year, I want you to think about the fact that you're likely paying more taxes than this president has paid. And not only that, but likely whatever money that you are expected to pay, if you're expected to pay anything, is likely going towards the billions of dollars this president is looking to collect from the IRS. Think about that. I don't think there's never been another president that has made as much money in the presidency, and dare I say even post-presidency, than what Trump has made and what he is making now. And so this is case in point. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Speaking of the money, Meta begins their $65 million election push to advance their artificial intelligence agenda. I don't know if you all saw this article in the New York Times, but it's worth looking at. Meta is preparing to spend $65 million this year to boost state politicians who are friendly to the AI industry. Beginning this week in Texas and Illinois, the sum is the biggest election investment by Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp. And the company was previously cautious about campaign engagements, making small donations out of a corporate political action committee and contributing to presidential inaugurations. It's also let executives like Sheryl Sandberg, who was the chief operating officer, support candidates in their personal capacities. Now, Meta is betting bigger on politics, driven by concerns over the regulatory threat to the artificial intelligence industry as it aims to beat back legislation in states that it fears could inhibit AI development. So remember Citizens United, remember that decision way back when by the Supreme Court, where the U.S. Supreme Court said the corporations are people, therefore they can spend as much money as they want to influence elections. This is the abuse of that decision. That's what this represents. It's the abuse of that decision. It represents how wrong-headed that decision was, and I say that as a non-lawyer. I say that somebody with some common sense. It's wrong-headed, but it's also being perverted by corporate titans operating in their narrow self-interest. When we come forward, we're switching gears. I am looking forward to welcoming back my friend and brother, the one and only Al Reynolds. We're going to be talking about
you're listening to
Jesse Jackson. We're going to be talking about Jesse Jackson, the statement that President Trump made about Jesse Jackson today at the White House, and more. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
You got to laugh the pain away.
Hey, KBLA delegation, happy Black History Month. Around here, we celebrate our culture, our community, and our contributions daily. But this year, as we observe the 100th anniversary of Black History Month celebrations, we're excited about our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, honoring comedy greats. On Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum in downtown LA, we're toasting D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Munell, Dion Cole, and Martin Lawrence with a surprise guest appearance. A limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon remain, so now would be a good time to head to KBLA1580.com to secure one for yourself. That's KBLA1580.com. A little laughter goes a long way, especially in times like these. So come, join us for our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. Again, tickets are available Available right now at KBLA1580.com.
Well, I hang around my boy. He's been married for 6 years. Videotaped his wedding day, never watched it. Now and every day, he watch it every day, but he watch it in reverse. Because he said he loves seeing himself take that ring back off of that finger. Walking back down that aisle, just waving at her ugly mother down the church, getting back in the limo, back at the bachelor party. Look how happy I was.
KBLA Talk 1580 thanks LA City Council members Curran D. Price Jr. and Heather Hutt for being the presenting sponsors at this year's Black History Month luncheon. Honoring excellence, resilience, and achievement, we are KBLA Talk 1580.
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Only permanent interests. As we effort to build a more perfect union.
I want to begin by expressing our sadness at the passing of a person who I knew very well. Jesse was a piece of work. I want to tell you, he was a piece of work, but he was a good man. He was a real hero, and I just want to pay my highest respects to Reverend Jesse Jackson. He's a good man. He was actually, as you got to know him, he got better and better all the time. A lot of people, you get to know him, they get worse and worse. Jesse got better and better. But I knew him well long before becoming president, and he really was special with lots of personality, grit, and street smarts. You would say Jesse had serious street smarts, right? A very important ingredient to life, I will tell you. He was gregarious and someone who truly loved people and a force of nature. He was somebody that we're going to greatly miss. And on behalf of everyone here today, I know you join me in sending our condolences to the entire family. Had a great family.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, joined with the one and only Al Reynolds, cultural architect and political and pop culture contributor here on A More Perfect Union. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. I'm coming to you live from Bowie State University. You know, I am a professor here, and class just let out. So you know I'm committed to you when I'm teaching all day and night.
I know you are.
To talk to your people, but I really enjoyed and I appreciate the opportunity.
Al Reynolds for the people. Al Reynolds for the people. He don't stop. Well, you know who else don't stop is President Trump. We were just listening to a clip from the president's remarks delivered at the White House's Black History Month celebration. You just heard what he had to say about the late Reverend Jesse Jackson. Of course, those comments coming about a week after he posted AI generated video depicting former President Barack Obama and our forever First Lady Michelle Obama as apes. What do you make of all of this coming out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Al?
This just, I mean, for me, I think, okay, this is what I really feel. I feel like that he felt forced to make that. He did not talk about his contribution to the country. He did not talk about his contribution to the culture. I think he felt because of all the backlash that he got for that racist post with the apes, that he felt like he had to speak in this space on this legendary, iconic civil rights leader, the only survivor of that time, right? From you know, that infamous shooting or whatever. It felt forced. It also felt contrite. It felt not exemplary of what a president should say about an icon, about a public figure in the African-American community. Just the whole joking part that made my stomach turn was when he said, what was it? He's a force of nature, like few others before him. He had street smarts. He kept talking about his street smarts. No, Jesse wasn't just street smart. He was educated. He was beyond just street smarts. And just calling him a good man and very gregarious, those were all prepared words. That's not really one of gratitude and grace and uplifting. It's just one to placate us because it's coming off of the heels of people calling him racist, right? So for me, save it. I would rather you not say anything, but I felt like he would have gotten more backlash if he did say something. But to me, it was lackluster at best. Sorry,
Do
I
you
can't think of anything better to say.
No. But I'm asking you what you make of it, and that's what you make of it, and we invite that. I also it's not lost on me that Jesse Jackson Jr., who has a show right here on KBLA Talk 1580 in the afternoon. Our sincerest condolences to him and to his entire family for the loss of their dad. He was a hero to them first, before so many of us. And I saw this morning that Jesse Jackson Jr. had said during a press conference that all are invited to Reverend Jackson's homegoing celebration.
Right.
Both Democrats, Republicans, left wing, right wing, all are invited if they can be respectful. Do you think this president, should attend Reverend Jackson's homegoing?
Well, I think he probably should, because the part that I didn't even mention was the disgusting part of how he used the announcement to kind of, say he was a good man and a good personality, to then pivot into him being falsely and consistently called a racist by the radical left. I found that repulsive. Once again, a strategy to try to kind of like placate all the disgusting things that he's done in the last couple of weeks, portraying our community as something that's sub or less or even ape-like. I think that if that sentiment of even that's within his party that's percolating doesn't calm, he might show up at that only for some type of PR push to help calm some of the disgusting stuff that has come out as it relates to what he did with the Obamas. I just don't like it. I just feel like it's performative. You can't talk bad about President Obama and then try to be neutral and lukewarm with Reverend Jesse Jackson. Something is just saying to me doublespeak. And once again, I find that even his comment, even his grit to try to come up with something positive fell short and was disrespectful.
And speaking of something that I think a lot of taxpayers may find disrespectful, that a lot of folks out there might find almost repulsive. I was just talking about it before the break. NPR reporting that Trump would like the government that he leads to pay him billions of dollars. There are lawyers and watchdogs that are beside themselves that the president wants the government he leads to pay him billions of dollars. Trump has filed multiple claims arguing that he was hurt by the Justice Department's investigation and the leak of his tax returns. Now he wants his political appointees to determine whether to settle with him for billions of dollars. What's your reaction to this?
Jeez, I just think about how crazy this man is, but at the same time, for someone like himself who's an extreme narcissist, in his mind, I'm sure it makes perfect sense. But let me just understand exactly what we're saying here. Trump is pushing his executive order, right? Let's take that back. He isn't just pushing his executive order, because that's not what he's doing. He's trying to come and say, here's the invoice for all the harm that you did to me, right? He wants the Justice Department to pay him $230 million over the Mar-a-Lago search and the Russian probe. Then he wants the IRS to pay him $10 billion over the tax return leak. Now, this is the gag to me. His own appointees, how brilliant is this? His own appointees will be deciding whether to pay their boss, potentially, and as we know, it's definitely coming out of the taxpayers' judgment fund. It's coming out of the judgment fund. To me, that's not accountability. That's the president negotiating with himself, and we're the ones that are footing the bill. This kind of feels to me, and I'm going to use this word a lot when I talk about this administration, this feels like a gross GoFundMe account. That's what it feels like. Yeah,
a GoFundMe account.
That's what it feels like, that we're paying for, that we don't even have a choice to give to, in the benefit of the president of the United States.
I think you're right. I mean, and there are reports that typically the Justice Department would fight claims like this in court and defend the work of its career prosecutors and FBI agents. And in this case, they would have a strong legal defense, but I don't think they're defending it. I think they are trying to figure out how to appease this president, given how much money is at stake. Do you suspect that there are folks in the Justice Department that would much rather leave than be attached to this in any sort of way in perpetuity?
Heck no. I think they too are thirsty for power. It's the only power that they really have, right? Because they get a minimal salary. Everything about them is tied to their influence and power. And it's the ultimate power if you are really honest. So I guess unless you're like really, really old and tired of opening your eyes every day, you might want to say, okay, I'll resign or I won't participate in this. But other than that, do you think Clarence Thomas is going to step down because he doesn't like this feeling? Heck no. Heck no. I once again, I still say it's a gross GoFundMe account. And this is his way of saying, if I'm going to have to leave because things are looking kind of bleak for him, that they're coming after him because he doesn't really want us to understand this whole Epstein thing, that if he has to leave, he wants to leave with a retirement plan. And his retirement is coming out of what I just shared with you, which was a freaking judgment fund that we, the taxpayers, have created over the life of this country.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that experts in tax law say that this case has some big flaws. They say, for one thing, the statute of limitations seems to have expired. And what's more, they say that the leak took place during Trump's first term in office. So the president suing the government for actions that occurred when he was in charge. And the contractor is currently serving prison time for the leak. And so this is not an open and shut case, but it is one that will no doubt continue to garner headlines. And to your point, maybe he's hoping that these headlines will take our attention away from Jeffrey Epstein and some other very troubling headlines. When we come forward, we're going beyond the headlines with our very own Al Reynolds. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
The audience is listening. Thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The White House says President Trump will respond after Black Maryland Governor Wes Moore requested federal help for a massive wastewater spill in the Potomac River.
It's no secret that Maryland's water and infrastructure have been in dire need of repair.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt criticized the state's infrastructure and says the president has already directed federal agencies to assist. Reactions continue following the death of civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson. Illinois House Speaker Emanuel Chris Welch praised Jackson's mentorship and commitment to uplifting unheard voices. Chicago's Black Mayor Brandon Johnson honored his legacy as a freedom fighter, while former Mayor Lori Lightfoot called him an iconic leader. In Los Angeles, Black Mayor Karen Bass says murders dropped 27% in the city's most violent impacted areas, including gang reduction and youth development zones. Overall, homicides fell 19% in 2025. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Slowing in Santa Monica, East 10 jamming up away from Cloverfield. Delays all the way to the 5 in Boyle Heights. There's some pretty slow traffic on the westbound side of the 10 as well, leaving the 5 out of Boyle Heights, heading back towards just about La Cienega. It's tough on the 405 in Culver City. Northbound slowing from about Venice Boulevard. Delays all the way to the 5 merge into Sylmar. And West LA, South 405, slowing down at Santa Monica Boulevard all the way to the 605. Let's look at the drive in Carson, 91 eastbound. Delays here are backing up all the way from Avalon Boulevard. Delays ahead to Green River in Corona.
Now is the time to save on an award-winning Nissan at the Nissan Now sales event. featuring the Rogue, Pathfinder, Frontier, and more. Don't wait. These offers are going fast. Shop your Southern California Nissan dealers and NissanUSA.com today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A documentary about Michael Vick's first season as head football coach at HBCU Norfolk State has been nominated for an NAACP Image Award. The former Pro Bowl quarterback left a broadcasting job in 2025 to take over the Norfolk State program. The story of Vick was nominated for Outstanding Short Form Series. Hip-hop star Kendrick Lamar was nominated in the same category for his halftime performance at last year's Super Bowl in New Orleans. The NAACP Image Awards is February 28th at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium. BET will have live coverage. Tiger Woods, who turned 50 in December, did not rule out playing in this year's Masters in April. Woods is recovering from his 7th back surgery in October. The 15-time major champion is in town to host the Genesis Invitational at the Riviera Country Club in Palos Verdes. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
What's up? What's up? What's up? We got to laugh the pain away.
Hey, KBLA delegation, happy Black History Month. Around here, we celebrate our culture, our community, and our contributions daily. But this year, as we observe the 100th anniversary of Black History Month celebrations, we're excited about our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, honoring comedy greats. On Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum in downtown LA, we're toasting D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Munell, Dion Cole, and Martin Lawrence with a surprise guest appearance. A limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon remain, so now would be a good time to head to KBLA1580.com to secure one for yourself. That's KBLA1580.com. A little laughter goes a long way, especially in times like these. So come, join us for our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. Again, tickets are available right now at KBLA1580.com.
Well, I hang around my boy. He's been married for 6 years. Videotaping his wedding day, never watched it. Now and every day he watch it every day, but he watch it in reverse. Because he said he loves seeing himself take that ring back off of that finger. Walking back down that aisle, just waving at her ugly mother down the church, getting back in the limo, back at the bachelor party. Look how happy I was.
KBLA Talk 1580 thanks LA City Council members Curran D. Price Jr. and Heather Hutt for being the presenting sponsors at this year's Black History Month Luncheon. Honoring excellence, resilience, and achievement, we're KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The BLM Center for Black Power is a hub for Black activism in the city of Los Angeles, a standalone nonprofit affiliated with Black Lives Matter LA. The venue is home to live events, meetings, and organizing drives for Black-led community-based organizations. It is also the base of operations for Black Lives Matter LA. Built on what used to be a nuisance property owned by an arms dealer, the BLM Center for Black Power is in the heart of Leimert Park and has opened its doors to everything from youth organizers to toy drives to film screenings and community town hall meetings. To make a donation or make a request, please visit blmla.org. That's blmla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hit me! National News The Consequence. Informed opinion. And analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, straightening my hat. Like I got a bunch of hair under here. We're here with Al Reynolds, cultural architect, and he is our resident pop culture and entertainment contributor. But don't let that fool you, because he follows these political headlines just as closely as we all do. And if you're ever looking for somebody who's gonna say it plain, who's gonna get to the heart of the matter, You better call up Al Reynolds.
I better watch it. I'm gonna get start. I'm gonna start. People are gonna start hating me if I keep beating up this administration.
Not at all. Not at all. You over here telling it like it is, and I think people appreciate that, particularly coming from you. And speaking of telling it like it is, former Vice President Kamala Harris is telling it like it is. The Grio's reporting that she got candid on a podcast recently about the midterms and why she opted not to run for governor of California, saying, quite frankly, it just wasn't her calling. Harris spoke to Noah DeBarso, a 14-year-old who went viral during the 2024 Democratic National Convention for his Now You Know podcast. And during their candid conversation, she opened up about Nicki Minaj leaning into misinformation and of course, why she chose to not run for governor, saying, quotes, "It's not my calling, but it is a great state and there's a lot at stake. California has 40 million people. And when I was U.S. Senator representing California, I represented 1 in 8 Americans." What do you think about that explanation as to why she decided not to run for governor of California? Are you buying the idea that it just wasn't her calling?
This is the setup. Oh my God, you know I love it when a powerful black woman is shady, baby. She basically said, I put to the governor. I am running for president. I am out here doing bigger and better things. I no longer walk in those trenches. I love the fact that she labeled it as not her calling. It should be, it's not her calling anymore. I think Kamala just has a bigger fish to fry. And, you know, we're all watching the polling around her. We're watching it decrease. She has much bigger things to do if she one day wants to sit in that presidential seat. And I think that's where her attention should go. And I don't have a problem with her trying to stay laser focused on making that happen. I need everybody to understand something about her. She's very strategic. She's laser focused on 2026 because that's all 435 House seats and the 33 Senate seats are on the line. And Republicans are holding the House by a thread only by 4 seats, right? 218 to 214. Her pitch is simple: flip Congress and put checks and balance back on Trump. And yes, she's been calling out, you know, Nicki Minaj, and I think she should because she understands the impact of misinformation, especially information coming from a black female who is usually a trusted figure as it relates to politics, right? I think people need to understand the dynamics that are going on here, and I'm here for it. But I do want her to be a little bit more strategic and understand that the African American community is very concerned about her messaging and that she has to get back on track in that. And I think her starting it here is letting them know that she's serious, she's focused, and that's exactly, she heard what they were saying and she's going to fix it.
So you think she should run for president again?
I think why not? Unless there is somebody else who can garner a little bit more than she has. I think she still has a support so far. Sorry, guys, the cleaning people are coming through the classrooms, all that noise. I apologize.
That's all right.
They're coming through all the noise. So, you know, she's only at a short margin right now. So Democrats as a whole are still supporting her, are still positive on her, not as strong as it was, you know, obviously during the election. But until they can find someone better, who is the alternative? I don't think that right now, given the state of the country, that she should give up the focus. I think she should shift in the strategy.
Okay. All right. Well, I have no doubt we're going to be coming back to that again and again and again. I, for one, think that anybody who believes that they can lead this country forward, they should run, right? And I think that there should be a robust contest of ideas. And I think folks are going to be looking for, someone who isn't just trying to, return us to the past, but somebody who's going to lead us into the future. And so for all these names who have been out in the zeitgeist for some time, I think that is a big part of what they're going to have to do to get serious consideration. How are you going to lead people forward, not lead people back to some other era?
I agree.
But speaking of leading people back, turning the clock back, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was unable to say when Trump was falsely accused of being racist. Let me explain. Our friends over at The Grill are reporting that following President Trump's claim in social media, a social media post honoring Reverend Jesse Jackson, that he has been, quote, falsely and consistently called a racist, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was unable to point to examples to back up the president's claim. During a press briefing today before the Black History Month reception at the White House. Yes, there was a Black History Month reception at the White House, y'all. We know that the press secretary was asked about Trump's post, and her response, "Are you kidding me?" There's a plethora of examples without naming any specific instances. She said she's going to get her team in that room to start going through the internet of radical Democrats throughout the years who've accused this president falsely of being racist. Now, I know I've asked Caroline questions, and she said she was going to get back to me, and I'm still waiting on her to get back to me. That's what I know.
Well, don't hold your breath.
Don't you do it. I don't want you to pass out here on air. But what do you make of this? I mean, there's a lot going on in a very short period of time. A lot going on the same day. The president, saying something that he thinks is nice and empathetic about Reverend Jesse Jackson. Less than a week ago, he's got this fake AI image of the Obamas as apes, right? And the White House press secretary gets up there and scoffs at the idea of this president being accused of being racist.
Yeah, I mean, after watching the congressional hearing with Bondi and watching her every day at the press conference, it's just, to me, it's just sickening. They don't tell the truth. They don't answer the questions. They answer questions, asking questions. They dodge, they dip, they cover up. I don't believe anything coming out of that administration. I don't believe anything coming out of her mouth. I don't believe anything coming out of anybody that is in that house, in my opinion. And I think one thing, though, you have to admire about all of them, besides their extremely disgusting behavior, is their consistency. They are consistent. They're all consistently not being truthful. They all consistently are not being forthright. They all are consistently violating the Constitution. They all are consistently trying to rewrite laws. They all are consistent in just being corrupted. They all are consistent in putting a veil or trying to put a veil over the American people's eyes. They're keeping their theme and their messaging even and consistent. They're ruling by fear. They are ruling by awarding individuals that support their narrative. This is... If you can't show me receipts for the stuff that you're saying, we as American people want to see the truth. We are tired of being lied to. And until you can provide some receipts, all you're doing in my head is just providing us with a list of things to do.
I mean, really.
What do you feel about this? Like, how do you feel watching those congressional hearings and questioning Pam Bondi? How do you feel when you watch and sit in those rooms at those press conferences? It, to me, is just infuriating. Right?
It is. It is an insult to the intelligence of the American people. It makes a mockery of our democracy. It makes a mockery of our government. Call me old-fashioned, but I think there is something noble about our Constitution, the preamble to our Constitution. We, the people, in order to form a more perfect union,
that's right,
establish justice, right? Those are some of the first words in the preamble of the Constitution. And though we haven't always delivered on that, as President Biden and other folks have mentioned over the years, we have never walked away from it either, right? And as Toni Morrison says, there's power in the attempt. And so that's part of the reason why we do this show every day. It's part of the reason why I show up in that White House press briefing room as often as I can. It's a part of the reason why we make it our business to uplift the voices of leaders on the front lines, to feature folks on this show and on this station that are shaping the culture, so that folks have an alternative to the mockery, to the demagoguery, and to the low vibration nastiness that we see coming out of some of the biggest megaphones in this country. And that's not just 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And that's not just up the street on Capitol Hill. We were talking about Nicki Minaj a few moments ago, right? Someone who has millions and millions of followers and has chosen to use her platform to help spread and amplify mis and disinformation. And so in my Iyanla Van Zant voice, not on my watch.
I love it. I agree. I think the sad part is when the leader of the country is leading with false narratives, it just sets a different stage of allowing false narratives to be true. And for those who don't fact check and those who follow the leader, they find themselves spreading false narratives, which is very dangerous at minimum. It's dangerous at minimum. So I agree. And they have the biggest megaphones right now. And they're also using those megaphones to suppress the regular citizen, and definitely the regular citizen that has melanin in their skin. And that too is not only scary, but that too is also unconstitutional. I'm trying to find the silver lining in this. And I guess what it could be is that it's teaching us a lesson, right? A lesson that this is what we thought it was for over 300 or 400 years, right? Every moment that we thought was racist or unconstitutional or wasn't right, we're now seeing it firsthand. There's no fact checking what we're experiencing right now because we're seeing it firsthand with our eyes. We're hearing it firsthand with our ears. You know what I mean? And so I think that's the positive from all of this, possibly.
You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. The Quiet Part Out Loud with Al Reynolds when we come forward.
More 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs. LADWP urges everyone to always keep safety top of mind. If you see a downed wire, don't touch it. Stay far away and call 911 immediately. Downed wires can be deadly. Whether you're at home, work, or on the road, always assume the wire is live. Together, we can keep Los Angeles safe and powered. Learn more at ladwp.com/electric safety.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your bed. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The midterm elections are upon us. It is voting season once again. Common Cause's motto is fighting for the democracy we deserve. In service of that goal, Common Cause puts its state and national policy expertise, massive network of grassroots supporters, and nonpartisan approach into action to strengthen our democracy against the challenges we face today. They work at every level of government on priorities that impact each of our lives, like defending the right to vote, limiting big money's influence on our elections, holding public officials accountable, and more. Common Cause is a nonpartisan grassroots organization dedicated to upholding the core values of American democracy. They seek to empower all people to make their voices heard in the political process. This election may be the most important one ever. If you'd like to make a donation or volunteer in service to the Constitution, please visit commoncause.org. That's commoncause.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Notable journalists, industry leaders, lawmakers, change makers, tastemakers, and you working to build a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming a More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. It's time for the quiet part out loud. And I would be remiss if I didn't invite you, Al, to reflect on the passing of Reverend Jesse Jackson Jr., or Reverend Jesse Jackson, rather. There are so many think pieces that are out there. There are so many hot takes on social media. You could really just sort of sit down and just scroll for hours and hours and learn so much about what this civil rights icon, what this luminary has meant to the world, right, across generations. And so in our remaining minutes, I wanted to give you just a little bit of time to reflect on what Reverend Jackson meant to you and the aspects of his legacy that you will cherish the most.
Oh gosh, this is interesting to me because I feel like I'm at that age where I got the end of one era, lived in a completely different era, and then watching another era blossom. To me, Jesse Jackson's life sits in that rare category of American public figures whose impact isn't a moment, it's a movement, because it spans so many years, right? He's most widely known as being a civil rights leader who helped carry the torch, like back during Martin Luther King days, during that era. But you got to understand, after that, his press and his full scope of what his policies were is the kind of part that I remember, right? His deeper contribution to me is it's about how he expanded what civil rights could look like in real time in America, not only marching and moral persuasion, but also political power building. He did a great deal of coalition making. He also served as a great negotiator. Don't forget the negotiation that he did, and not only with countries, but also with institutions that once refused to negotiate with Black communities at all. So when I look back at Jesse Jackson, and I want to be very clear, I had somewhat of a front seat to the family. I went to school with Yusef Jackson and at the University of Virginia. So for me, watching like firsthand how he moved and how he thought, and being able to sit in our dorm suites, and that's and listen to him, because he used to drive his limo up to University of Virginia to see Yusef, and he would have these impactful conversations. He normalized the idea that Black communities could demand outcomes, and those outcomes don't come with sympathy, right? He pushed the nation from listening to responding. He forced it. Whether you agreed with his tactics or not, he was relentless about making the country confront inequality as policy issues, as economic issues, and last but not least, as human issues. So And that's just not cultural ones. So for me, I see a different light of him. I saw a different side of him. And for that, I am just blessed that I had the experience of him in what felt like 3 generations.
That's really special. That's really special. And I didn't know you went to University of Virginia with Youssef.
I did.
But I keep going back to the 1984 and 1988 Democratic convention speeches that then Democratic candidate for president Jesse Jackson had delivered. And if anybody has a little bit of time on your hands, treat yourself, don't cheat yourself. Go back and listen to those speeches. They're both about an hour in length each, but it offers us a snapshot of where the country was, where the Democratic Party was, and as we look back, so much of that is unfinished, but it to your point, it helped to power a movement, a movement that is still afoot. And so my thanks to you for always helping us to go beyond the headlines. And like I said earlier, get to the heart of things, get to the heart of the matter. And right now in this moment, a lot of folks are reflecting with their minds and their hearts on the life and legacy of the late, great Reverend Jesse Jackson. Absolutely. Our thanks to Al Reynolds. We'll have to leave it there. My thanks to the entire village that helps us produce a more perfect union each and every day. Our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, our sound engineer, Brother Andy, our show producers, Faraji and Art, and to each and every one of you, all of our leaders, learners, and listeners. We curate this show every day, every single day with you in mind. We hope you've enjoyed it. Remember, don't panic. Organize. Do what you can from where you are with what you have, but by all means, do something. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. He is the Al Reynolds.
That's right. Check me out. Follow me.
Where? Follow you where?
At the Al Reynolds on Instagram, actually across all platforms. And once again, as always, Dr. Nii-Quartelai, thank you for having me. And thank you, listeners, for continuing to support him having me. I really appreciate it.
Always. You've been listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.